Welcome back. You're still tuned into Midcap Radar on CNBC-TV18. Let's talk about the agrochemicals sector. Nirmal Bang, in a recent note, said that it sees a healthy outlook for the Indian crop protection chemical sector in the second half on the back of robust growth as well as decline in chemical prices and freight rates as well. We will get in Mr. V Bubna as the CMD at Sharda Cropchem to discuss the demand trends. Now, do remember, Sharda Cropchem does not get a lot of revenues coming in from Indian markets. Mostly it's exports, but yes, figuring out what's happening as far as demand trends are concerned for the agrochemical sector. Mr. Bubna, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here, and Happy New Year to you and everyone at the company as well. So the first question, of course, is the fact of demand on ground, especially in Europe, because that is something that saw some pressure in Q2. You did take some steps as well to offset the impact of demand concerns that we were seeing in Europe. Has that worked for you? Did Q3 turn out to be better than Q2? And what is the outlook looking like?
Madam, I'm not allowed to speak much about the Q3 because you are in the closed window. But in general, I can say that the Q3 will be better than Q2.
Okay, so Q3 will be better than Q2. And in terms of demand, have you seen an improvement across geographies?
Yes, we are seeing some improvement in the demand, particularly in European region and in USA,
okay.
North America.
Can you quantify the extent of improvement, sir, in Europe as well as America, say compared to Q2?
Madam, again, I am bound by the...
All right. Sir, if you could tell us, are you planning any price hikes? And if yes, can you tell us the quantum and what's driving it?
Our prices, as I explained earlier, they're all guided by the multinationals.
Correct.
We price our products just at some small discount to the multinationals. And multinationals are not increasing the prices, so our prices remain unchanged so far.
Okay.
Okay, so that is about pricing on the selling side. But if we talk about raw material pricing, because maximum of your raw materials come in from China as well, if you can give us a qualitative answer in that case, whatever we've been seeing in China in terms of supply side issues, rising COVID cases, has that impacted availability of raw materials or pricing of raw materials for you?
Madam, raw material prices are softening in China, and there is a lot of news in the media that China is going through very strong COVID problems, but we do not see it on the ground level. Our shipments are taking on time and goods are being supplied on time so far. Whatever is projected in the media may be on some specific regions, which is probably not affecting our manufacturers.
Okay. Could you give us an indication, sir, how freight rates are moving for you? Have we seen a decline in freight rates which can benefit you?
There has been some decline in the freight rates compared to what it used to be in Q1, but currently the freight rates are stable, but they are not increasing. There is a slight trend of softening of the freight rates as well.
Okay, so slight softening of freight rates. If you can just give us an idea of how much have they fallen from the top, raw material prices especially, because last time you had cut down your margin guidance because of whatever is happening. I'm not asking for the guidance, but it can give us a sense of whether, you know, it will impact your margins any more from current levels. How much have raw material prices fallen for you?
If I have understood your question correctly, I would say the freight rates will not impact our margins at all. It may be on the better side.
Okay. And when we talk about raw material prices, when you say they have softened, how much have they fallen from the highs?
It is the trend is continuing. Softening is going on.
Sir, most of your raw material comes from China. China is going to reopen now. Can you give us an indication of what the outlook from China is going to be and how it's going to impact you all?
Madam, China is not going to, China is in fact going to impact our business favorably and not adversely because of softening of the prices and no problem in availability of the goods.
Okay. Okay, so China will not be an issue for you. I wanted to check with you because this is something that I had been reading in newspapers and other publications as well, that there is a difficulty in finding scientific talent or, you know, some technology talent abroad in manufacturing facilities, especially in Europe. Is that something that is happening in the agrochemicals industry as well?
Madam, your voice is not very clearly audible. The words are getting mixed up. So I would request you to kindly repeat the question
Yes.
and a little slowly for
Okay.
us to understand.
Mr. Bubna, I wanted to ask you, I've been reading it in publications and in some newspaper reports as well, and some of the companies, at least on the API pharma side, have said that it is little more difficult to find a scientific talent or technology talent because your companies or your suppliers are innovators as well. To get a talent in the company after whatever has happened in the Ukraine-Russia war as well. Is that seen in agrochemical companies as well?
And are you talking about talent?
Yes, just scientific talent for your manufacturing facilities abroad. Is that at all happening in the industry?
It is not affecting us adversely. Our supplies continue to be normal. And for your information, our shipments to Ukraine are also going in normal in spite of the war.
Okay. So one final question.
Our shipments to Ukraine would be slightly better in 2023 compared to 2022 in spite of the war between Russia and Ukraine.
So has LATAM grown this quarter? Because last quarter revenues were down 10%.
LATAM is more or less steady and stable.
That means flat?
Yeah, it will be flat.
Okay. All right, Mr. Bubna, thank you so much for joining us and giving us all those details. That's the word coming in from Sharda Cropchem. So quarter 3 will be better than quarter 2 and shipments to Ukraine will be